Now is the time to start the Government Operations and Oversight Committee meeting for Monday, June 5th at 6:14. Roll call, please.
Alderman Florian.
Present.
Alderman Bolton.
Present.
Alderman Newsome. Alderman Felix.
Present.
Alderman Martinez. Alderman Newsome's coming now if you wanted to.
We'll wait 1 minute and
Alderman Newsome,
okay.
you have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. Are there any public comments for this committee?
Oh, yes, I do. I'm Janet Kilkelly, City Clerk, here to address the item on your agenda regarding amending and restating ordinance number 23-0-125, fixing the salaries to be paid elected officials of the City of Waukegan, Illinois, holding the offices of Mayor, Clerk, and Treasurer. This ordinance was voted on by the previous council after much discussion and consideration. It is incongruous to me that this should be one of the first items you have chosen to address and is specific to the office of City Clerk. The prior administration was in an appropriate position to evaluate, vote, and take it out of the political minefield. I say that because you have not targeted anyone else, nor the alderperson's future compensation. I am appalled that you have focused on this as your first order of business. How does this benefit the community, and why is this a priority over everything? Additionally, this administration has made customer service non-existent. Has anyone on the council heard from the residents about trying to obtain a building permit, which includes a 5-week engineering review process for a driveway alone? The clerk's department receives numerous calls daily from residents attempting to reach someone, anyone, in the water department. Rather than be concerned with safety in Waukegan, the mayor's office is using the city council meeting for a political stunt. More important matters lay at her doorstep: escalating crime, proliferation of gunshots in the neighborhoods, speeding in the streets, and increasing homicides, and the stunning erosion of customer service at City Hall. Your concern should be directed to improving the processes and procedures to make it easier for our residents to access services. This specific motion to amend and restate is a sophisticated motion, and one I have not personally used in my 30 years on 4 different boards representing this community. Having new alderpersons following their first meeting requesting this item be brought back is a manipulation by this administration that has focused on discrediting the office of City Clerk. The clerk is an elected full-time position as a department head and should be accorded the same respect as other full-time department heads at the City of Waukegan. Again, let me reiterate, this salary does not benefit me in any way. It is for the next term, and I will continue to advocate for the future of this office. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else like to speak?
Good evening, Council. You know, it's kind of disappointing in you new aldermen that's pulling this back on this agenda. Of all the things that's going on in this city, you mean to tell me we're talking about somebody's salary that's going to happen at the next term? Is we're talking about the salaries that y'all are paying out right now. We didn't vote for y'all to come up in here and start this infight and picking a political side. It's disgusting and it's sad. And if you was going to pull anything back up, we should have talked about that wraparound center that's going to combust downtown area, pack it up, Have we not looked around nowhere? Homeless people are being brought in the city of Waukegan and dumped here. You know why? Because the resources is easy and you get a lot of it. But we're talking about the salary of an elected position. This ain't somebody that's been appointed. We voted for that person just like we voted for y'all. And I think that office deserves the same respect that we give each one of you aldermen and each one of these department heads. Because as I go on the city website and I look at some of the pay, it's quite a lot. And I'm looking at this elected position of the city clerk. It's the lowest one on there when we're talking about department heads. Even with this raise, it's still the lowest one. We didn't vote for them other department heads. We voted for you aldermen to come here and speak on our behalf and speak for the community. Not coming up in here allowing an office, a favor, these backdoor conversations that y'all have, this takeover that we're looking like doing it is disgusting, y'all. And just to remind y'all, I still got babies out here dying. They still have nowhere to go. They still have nothing to do. Summer camp cost them almost $300 for 2 weeks. And you're talking about cleaning up the street. Well, I'm out here and I'm knocking on doors and I'm talking to families every day and I'm not seeing none of y'all. So I implore y'all to leave this alone. That other council did that. They talked about it. They went weeks on it. And a decision was made. You guys just came here. So I implore you guys to learn the policies in these offices before you come up in here changing anything, because I didn't see none of y'all sitting at these meetings every week like I've been for the last 2+ years. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. Okay, anyone else? Okay. Item D, I need a first and a second motion to approve the minutes of the Special Government Operations and Oversight Committee meeting held on April 17th, 2023.
I so move.
Thank you, ladies. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. On to item 2, new business. I need a first and second motion to approve the execution of agreement by the mayor on behalf of the city of Waukegan with the public entity professionals of Alliant Insurance Services Incorporated for the July 1st, 2023 property and casualty insurance renewal for an estimated amount of $1,983,006.
So move. I second.
Thank you. This is our property and casualty insurance for the city. The staff recommends the city council approve the execution by the mayor on behalf of the city. Again, I said the estimated amount. Any questions to this motion? Okay. Roll call, please.
Alderman Felix.
Aye.
Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
And Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you, ma'am. Item B, I need a first and second motion to approve the execution of agreement by the mayor on behalf of the city of Waukegan with Origami Risk LLC for a 3-year risk management centralized system contract for an estimated amount of $63,667.
So move. So move. I second.
Thank you, ladies. Any questions to this motion? Okay, roll call.
Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Felix.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you, ma'am. Item C, I need a first and second motion to approve an ordinance amending and restating ordinance number 23-0-125, fixing the salaries to be paid to elected officials of the city of Waukegan, Illinois, holding the offices of mayor, clerk, and treasurer.
I so move.
I need a second.
Oh, second.
Thank you. Any questions to this motion?
Yes. Corporation Counsel, can you explain how you can bring this motion back up? I thought it was the prevailing side would have to bring it up for reconsideration.
That would be a motion to reconsider, which is a way to actually rescind a motion, an ordinance when it's been passed, and you can do that either at that meeting or the next meeting. In this case, this is a repeal of a previously, basically a repeal and replacement of a previously passed ordinance. And there are usually legal ramifications if you do that and someone has relied on that, if a contract has already been set, if money has already been expended. In this case, as was pointed out, the changes that would be affected would only happen starting in 2025. So basically this could be passed, this could be overruled, this could be, this could be changed until 180 days before the term of the next, the term of these officers would actually start in 2025.
So you're saying that we have all of this year, all of next year, until 180 days prior to the election in April of 2025.
Yes, ma'am. You can change the compensation of future terms up until 180 days before that term starts.
So this was brought up because they want to rescind it until that time?
The way it was communicated to me was that it was a request from Alderman Guzman and two other aldermen to repeal what had previously been done. When speaking with Director Jones, simply repealing that ordinance, that you need to have a salary ordinance in place. And so we didn't want to just repeal that and leave nothing there. So per the request of Alderman Guzman and the other two aldermen, the proposed ordinance basically removes the pay increases. And if that passes, then those pay increases would not take effect starting in the spring of 2025. If it fails, then the ordinance that you adopted on May 1st will stand.
Can you tell us who those other two aldermen is? You say Alderman Guzman. We should know all of them.
I have a question.
I'll admit I was one of them. I had voted no for this to begin with, and when it passed, and they approached me and said they'd like to rescind it, I of course agreed because I had voted no again to begin with, so.
And I was the other alderman as well.
And so, I have a question. So knowing that the facts have already been made, we haven't had a promotion, they haven't had an increase since 2012, 2010?
2012.
What is the objective of appealing this? What's the reason?
Well,
And like it's been pointed out, they're the lowest paid.
so you asked the constituents if they're for increases of other people's salary. Constituents would say, well, we don't want any increases right now. And another thing is that this was voted to increase, not for the current, elected officials, the next one, which will affect our 2 years, not their current. Right now it'll go to till 2025, which is the previous aldermen were part of it. So now it's not a 100% no for forever, but we can bring it up later on. But for now, I mean, we don't want any increases for anyone.
It's my understanding right now, if this is voted to rescind it, you cannot increase it for the 2025. Am I correct?
Sorry if I wasn't clear. If this is voted, the increases for 2025 go away. There is nothing stopping you because, and we have to go back, the ordinance that increased the salary for 2025 was passed this past May. That was a bit early. I mean, it's perfectly valid, but that does leave a significant time in which this council could act to either repeal that, you could increase it, You could reduce it even further. You just can't make any changes up until past 180 days before the election. So sorry if I apologize if I wasn't clear.
Correct. And I understand this is early. I've been up here 20 years, and yes, it's early. But when it comes to 180 days prior, people get afraid, and they don't want to bring in the politics, and they don't want to raise the salary. But this salary, the clerk is a full-time position, just like any other staff or employee in this city. It is not part-time like the alderman. They have not had an increase since 2012. Everybody in this city gets a cost of living increase and a step increase. Why not having an elected official get a cost of living raise? There's no salaries going backwards. I haven't had one that went backwards. Anything that you buy in this world, it has not gone backwards. The cost of doing business in this city every year goes up. And you're never gonna go backwards. Because if they can get that top dollar, they're gonna keep getting more and more. And we're paying for it as a constituent. My gas bill is not what it used to be a year ago, 2 years ago. I'm paying more. And any other cost, milk, eggs, and we all know that, went up to $7. So why not increase the clerk's pay that hasn't been increased since 2012? And the salary of the alderman haven't been increased since 16 years.
16 years.
That I've been up here. But that's all right. That's fine. But you're putting that salary on the office, not the person sitting there. Because we know these seats are not guaranteed to any of us. So that's 2025 that we're talking about. I don't think we should be rescinding this. I think it should go forward, like the council voted on it. There's gonna be other things that are gonna come up in the next 4 years that we're here that you wanna make your vote on. And if the council that comes in after us, or whoever, if you're still here, fine. If you're not, you wouldn't want them rescinding something that you voted on. I've talked to my constituents year after year. Their concern is, I wanna see where my tax dollars are going. Not if the city clerk gets an increase, or an employee gets an increase. Where are my tax dollars going? I wanna see them out there in the street. Are my streets getting done? Sidewalks, garbage picked up, grass cut, neighbors' property taken care of. I want to see that. So I don't see why we're dipping to rescind this, but
I would like to say,
everybody has their vote.
I would like to say those same questions I would like for you guys to ask your constituents. Are you guys in favor increasing people's salaries? That's a different question.
Well, it's automatic if you're an employee. You don't have
These
to
are
ask
elected
your
officials. They're not employees.
I have something to say. I understand that it is the constituents that elected her. So you cannot negate that. So, and I really encourage you to sit with the person in that position and look through their PowerPoint about if you have not met with them. And I believe she articulated very well what she does, that department does. And like she stated, it's not all about her, it's about the person that's holding that position. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Bolton. I would like to say, I know the chairman doesn't always speak during these, but I hear what you're saying, Alderman Newsom. I understand, and in the beginning, I agreed that the certain elected officials hadn't gotten a raise in a very long time, and it was probably time to think about doing it. And doing it when we talked about it was taking away the politics of it, which, if you will. But in talking with Alderman Hayes, he made a very good point. And first of all, elected officials are different than employees. We voluntarily put ourselves out there to run for office and take these positions, knowing what the salary is when we take the position, right? And knowing it can't change while we're in that particular office for the length of time. And we also in this city, as I believe what Alderman Felix was trying to allude to, we only have a finite amount of money. We only have the taxes we collect, some of the money we get from the state, whatever it is, we have a certain amount of money coming in, and we have a certain amount of services we must provide. We must provide fire, we must provide police, we must provide public works, we provide water, the list goes on. If we raise elected officials' salary, we have less money to do those things. And when you're talking about your constituents wanting to know where their tax dollars go, they prefer to see that their street is getting paved or their sidewalk's getting fixed. I had a guy today call me about his sidewalk, and I had to tell him it might be a while till they get to you. But so I can't justify saying I need a raise, and yet I'm making my people wait for sidewalks and roads. So that's why I voted no when we originally proposed this, and that's why I will vote to rescind this, because.
I have one more question.
Yes, Alderman Bolton.
Our attorney, what are the legal consequences if this is rescinded?
The effect of this ordinance would be that starting in spring of 2025, the salary for the mayor, the treasurer, and the clerk would stay the same as they are. And it would remove the automatic 2% increase that was built in.
Wait a minute, you said how much, 2%?
2% annually after that. So there's a bump in the base salary, and then the aldermen on May 1st had adopted a 2% annual increase for themselves, and then that would, under the ordinance you adopted on May 1st for the other officials, for the clerk, treasurer, and mayor, that 2% would be there. So it changed the base salary, and then it also added in an annual increase. This would remove both the change in the increase in the base salary plus that 2%.
Thank you.
If I can just make one comment here. After much consideration and knowing the dedication that particular office puts in, this is a classic example of political science, in my opinion, all right? Because I do feel that since 2012, they haven't had a raise, right? They do very good work. I've seen them in action, and I feel that it's well-deserving. I mean, it's not going to put a big dent, and we talk so much about all this revenue coming in with the casino money. Where is that money at? Okay, where's this money at? And what I really don't appreciate is the fact that my decision today does not determine or dictate my dedication that I give to my constituents in my ward. I've knocked on doors. I had trees knocked down. I've personally been there, so I don't appreciate the fact that whatever I decide, that needs to be respected, and I do think that it's well deserved that they do get a raise, but the bottom line is I've been approached, well, you better do this, you better do that. I don't take political sides. I don't believe in cronyism, I never did, but I just wanted to mention out there that since 2012, they haven't had a raise. And that's not an easy job. It's a full-time position, and because some are going to vote for it or against it, it's no reflection of my dedication, of me knocking on doors, of making sure that 80-year-old lady that lives by me is her safeguard, her interests are there. So that's my main concern. But personally, I will reconsider, and I'm going to vote for that raise because I think they do deserve it. They do deserve it. It's been a long time coming. Like Alderman Newsom said, everything's going up, but our checks, Let's talk about all this big money that's coming. Where is it at? We talk about this, we talk about that, but where is it at? Where is it at? So I don't think that's going to make a huge dent in our budget, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to vote for it because after consideration, I really do think that they deserve it.
Okay, thank you, Alderman Martinez. Anyone else?
Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Chairman, first, when you say you want to save money, it's fine. Please amend this, that no one gets a raise. If it's a matter of total money, let's have no one get a raise.
Are you talking just elected officials or no one in the city?
Yeah, elected officials. It's up to the rest of you. We've never voted that I can remember on the workers getting 2%. In fact, 2% for all the department heads amounts to $26,000 each year. That's their increase. Okay, I only supervise one person. She supervises now 3 again, now that the mayor's found another person for her. That's the type of things to do. You got the work to do, and you have to supervise these people and evaluate them. I'm not complaining about me. It's fine. I knew what I was getting paid the first time I run.
As we all did, yep.
Pardon me?
As we all did. We all know what
Well,
the salary
yeah,
for the position we run for is.
I got that. But if it's important for the alderman to get an increase, then it's important for everybody to get an increase. And if you take back when Sabanjan was here, when I came in, we had no money. So there were no increases. There were no increases for the work, for anybody. Then as we came along with Motley, things got better, and they instituted that. But if you institute every one of the raises that we've gone along, right, she would probably be $4,000 below the lowest department head. But that's not where she's at. So that should have been fixed back then, that we should have got 1%, 1.5%, 2%, I mean, whatever was decided. Everybody, including myself, right?
Well, thank you.
So I don't need the increase. So if we want to go back to nobody getting an increase, I'm for it.
Well, thank you for your input. Unfortunately, you don't get a vote.
I noticed that in 15 years.
All right, any other comments? Roll call, please.
So the vote aye is to rescind, correct?
Yeah.
And
so if
take
you-
it back to previous.
Yeah, so if you vote aye, this would be to recommend approval of this ordinance, and it would appear in 2 weeks. Well, it's going to go on the main agenda anyway, because we don't kill things in committee here. But a vote aye would be to rescind the pay increases that were adopted on May 1st. A vote nay is to recommend denial of that rescission and basically leave things as they were on May 1st.
Thank you for that
So to
explanation.
vote aye means you're against it.
I means that you're against the pay raise.
Okay.
Nay means you want to keep things the way they were as of May 1st.
Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Newsome,
Nay?
Alderman Bolton,
Nay.
Alderman Felix,
Aye.
Alderman Martinez,
Nay.
and Alderman Florian.
Aye.
So the motion fails.
So what that means is that there's going to be a negative recommendation from the committee. When things get voted down in committee, they don't just stop because the committee isn't the whole city council. So this will appear with a negative recommendation from the committee on the next agenda. And then the full council will get a chance to debate it.
Is that at the next committee meeting? I mean, the 20th?
That's where it would naturally go. And then if someone wants to hold it over or something like that, they can at that meeting.
Okay, thank you. There is no old business or reports or communications, so I need a first and second motion to adjourn at 6:43.
So move.
I second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.